Florida. There we go.
Gator True said he rooted for Jeremy Pruitt because he was garbage. I guess maybe I should root for Billy Napier. No, I'm joking. All right, is this accurate? Every game on here is good, like correct?
Yes,
not to call you out or anything, but
yeah, if it's not, then I'm going to blame the Florida Athletic website.
No, I see, guys. For the folks watching, we've got several folks right here on the YouTube, and I love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Leave a comment, let us know you're here. But for the folks watching, see, Michael started to do something on purpose here. So he purposely messes up a graphic every now and again. So that way, when we post the video,
we'll leave it
comments. It drives comments. It's crazy. It's like, man, like if we would have swapped LSU with somebody else and somebody seen that video, they would. I mean, look, we in the click business, right? Like you got. So we heard it. I don't remember what prediction segment it was. I think it was Missouri.
It was Oklahoma.
Was it Oklahoma?
No, it was Oklahoma. I messed up.
It was one game.
It was Kentucky and Oklahoma. I messed up the first game of the season for Kentucky. But the one that really had people letting me hear it was Oklahoma. I messed up the last game of the season. It's supposed to be LSU, and it was Arkansas that I had on the graphic. Yeah, the Oklahoma fans really let me hear about that one. But you know what? It doesn't change my prediction. You're still going to be bad this year.
I think it's a good marketing tactic. I think you should keep it up. Let's take off Florida State off this list real quick, and let's throw in something. No, I'm joking. But no, so we got Florida. Florida, obviously, Billy Napier, seats warm. I don't think it's really a question or a surprise about that. I think he's only there because they didn't want to lose DJ Lagway. That's my humble opinion. However, there's kind of a quiet hype around this Florida program going into this year, even with the tough schedule. I mean, we look at their schedule, and right off the gate, I see three. I think three's accurate. They play 3 of last year's playoff teams in this season, right? You've got Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas.
Yep.
And then they play Texas A&M, who's supposed to be a really good team this year. They play LSU and Miami, both on the road. Kentucky's going to be an easy sweep. I ain't even worried about that, even with Florida struggles against Kentucky. But Florida State's also, they're going to be better than last year. But can they handle them, right? Like, so, I don't know. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at what Florida's got. DJ Lagway, I think, gives them a chance in literally every game, and I stand by that humbly. But what does DJ have around him? That's what I'm kind of intrigued to see as the season goes along. But, Michael, do you want me to go first on this prediction segment?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Before we
get into it, I will say this. After talking with Daniel back earlier, and by the way, I think Daniel is wanting us to talk about some stuff with him next week on a video. I do know they're returning all 5 offensive linemen from last season.
That's great news for DJ.
Yeah, that's great news for him. And then as far as the wide receivers and running backs go, I will say there's some talented names on here. I'm not going to go through them just because there's some of them that probably won't play much this year. But I do see one or actually 2 names I think we'll be familiar with. Do you remember the name Jacoby Jackson, running back?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, Jacoby Jackson.
He was actually a really good running back. I mean, he might be in the running of one of the better running backs, maybe top 5 running backs of the SEC, in my opinion. He was really good last year.
Yeah, and then another name that actually sickens me to see right now is at DB.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were going with when you said sickens. Okay.
All right. Lagonza Howard. He was committed to Tennessee for a little while and actually flipped his commitment, and he's at Florida now. But I've got a feeling he's going to see some time this year on the field.
Here's another name that Tennessee fans will know. Backup quarterback Harrison Bailey. Our Lord and Savior. I'm joking. I think it does set up if DJ does get injured throughout the year and Harrison Bailey ends up being the starter come that Tennessee game. I think I'm more scared, honestly. Not because it's Harrison Bailey, but because of the storylines that could come out of that if we lost.
Listen, if Harrison Bailey is a starting quarterback by the time Tennessee plays them and he beats Tennessee,
oh man,
we might end up canceling the podcast. I don't know if I could do another podcast if that was to happen. I'm just gonna be real with you.
I'm gonna just sit there and take it. Honestly, it's part of it. That's football. That's why we're here. But right on. Well, without further ado, I'm gonna be pretty quick on this prediction. because we've been talking a lot today, and I know the folks just want to see what we're doing here. And we do have a comment. We appreciate you, Gator Truth. Speaking of Jeremy Pruitt, Harrison Bailey. That's right. Long Island. You know, Long Island's actually picked up several pieces in the transfer portal. So, I'm joking. I don't even know who Long Island is. That should be a pretty easy dub for Florida. USF is
I do.
intrigued.
That's where Zakai Ziegler's from.
What's that? You're kind of lagging out on me. What's up?
I said that's where Zakai Ziegler's from. It's Long Island.
That's right, New York.
Yep.
New York. USF. Is that Alice Golish?
That is.
That's a dub for Florida. It better be at least. At LSU. Boy, this gets tricky off the start, man. I mean, this is a big test right off the bat. You start out 2-0, and depending on how you look against Long Island and USF, and I think you could look great, there could be a lot of hype around this game. A very big swing game for both LSU and Florida. And if I got to be honest with you, I'm going to go with the preseason media, which I don't like doing that much, but everybody's high on LSU. I don't think I am, but for the sake of this prediction segment, I'm going to give LSU the win because they're they're saying Garrett Nussmeier is like the number one rated quarterback of this class. I think that's redonkulous, but maybe he's got something that I don't know about up his sleeve. But overall, that's Florida's first loss of the year. I think I'm going to attribute that more on the road more than anything. I do think this will be a close game. At Miami, back to back. I mean, this is not a really good stretch here for Florida, which none of this really is. At LSU, at Miami, and then Texas at home, Texas A&M on the road. Like at Miami, boy, we talk about it every year. Mario Cristobal is just, I don't believe in him, but yet he beats Florida. So it's like, where do I go with this? They do have obviously Carson Beck at the helm. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna give Miami the jump here because Mario Cristobal has literally had Billy Napier's number. So I'm gonna go another loss for Florida. And yes, this is gonna get ugly quick because I know Florida fans really want to beat Miami, and I think they can. I'm just going off of history here because I don't really know too much about Miami, other than the fact that they have won the previous meetings. Texas, they got a lot riding on them, but Florida, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't play Texas. No, they did. They played Texas close. I think first half. DJ got hurt though in that game, didn't he?
DJ got hurt, and they ended up.
And then it pretty much they ran away with it, didn't they? So Texas is intriguing. I think Arch is the guy, and I think this is where things start going off the rails for Billy. And this is where you just at least hope that DJ stays healthy because it gives you hope here in the back half of the season. But you're at Texas A&M. I think you really need a bounce back win here. And I think that you will get the bounce back win here. I'm not a big believer in A&M like a lot of people are. I think there's a stigma against A&M, just like there's kind of one against Tennessee. I just think for some reason Texas A&M can't get it done. Mississippi State, although I do like their quarterback, I don't think they're going to drop one to Mississippi State. So they get things back on the right track here before they meet up with Georgia. I think they beat Georgia.
Beat Georgia in Jacksonville.
I think they beat Georgia in Jacksonville. Now people are going to look at my prediction and be like, this don't make any sense. Well, it's not supposed to. It's a freaking prediction. I don't know. I think they beat Georgia. I think Georgia, I don't think they're going to fall off the face of the earth, but I think this is where you're going to see the rivalry mean a little bit more. And they played Georgia very well last year with DJ. So, I mean, I think that there is a chance. I'm not a huge believer in Gunnar Stockton, but I am a believer in Kirby Smart. But I think they get the win over Georgia. Billy Napier's seat is well cool by now if they've won 3 in a row at this point. They go at Kentucky. They get that win. They go at Ole Miss. And this one's tricky. I don't know. If they're winning these games and winning them comfortably and they look like a really good, solid team that's gotten better as the year gone on, I think they beat Ole Miss comfortably. But for this prediction segment, I'm going to give Ole Miss the win there. I think Ole Miss is going to be competitive in all the games. I don't see them making a run to the playoff or anything. But then you got Tennessee. You're hosting Tennessee. And even as a fan, I can't predict it. We haven't won in the Swamp since 2000.
2 years.
2003 or 2001?
2003.
Yep, it's not gonna happen. I can't predict it to happen if it's literally been almost my entire lifetime since it's happened. And then I think they end the year. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I put a loss thinking that I was choosing my team. Um, so overall, I mean, what a season for Florida. 8-4 with a schedule like that. Um, Now here's the thing though for Florida, and here's where I'm going to stand pretty firm. We like to do this ceiling and floor thing with Florida, and I just did something very rare. Um, I think their ceiling's 8-4, and I'm predicting them to go 8-4. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I could absolutely see them dropping one to Tennessee. I could see them dropping to Georgia. I can see them beating LSU. I can see them beat my so like either way it goes, I think their ceiling is still 8-4, and it just interchanges of which wins and which losses they get. But I think it's absolutely impossible for Florida, even Florida fans, to kind of think that they could go 11-1, 10-2 with this type of schedule, man. I don't care how good a team is. You seen Georgia last year. Even how good Georgia was, won the SEC. But man, when you have a schedule that stacked, you're just gonna drop some games, man. It's just part of it. So I think the ceiling for Florida is 8-4. I've got them going 8-4, and I think the floor for Florida. Texas, Georgia, Tennessee. So that's 3 right there off the bat. So I think the floor for Florida. I'm gonna go 5-7 and be generous, but it could be 4-8. But I'm gonna go 5-7 floor, 8-4 ceiling, and I've got them going 8-4. That is my Florida prediction. Please don't get too mad at me, Gator fan. What's your Gator Truth? Please don't be mad at me. That's actually a very generous. That's a very generous prediction in my opinion.
Yeah, so this was talking about the Texas game. DJ was out of that entire game, so
Oh, he
yeah,
was
that
out of
one,
the entire game.
yeah,
Okay, right
that
on. My
that one
fault.
got ugly pretty quick. But yeah, so 8-4, and you said 5-7 the floor. So
Yep.
I mean, it's with especially this schedule. I think that's very respectable for Florida this season. So clearing the board before I give my predictions. While I'm doing that, I think that this is without a doubt a make it or break it year for Billy Napier. If Florida does not have a good season, I think that you have to get rid of Billy Napier because of all the stuff going on in the athletic department as well. I think the first order of business, once you get an athletic director in there, it's going to be to hire a new coach if Billy Napier does not work out this season. So he got to have success this year.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I think he's gone.
Didn't they just change athletic directors, or like their athletic director quit, or what happened?
Gator Truth or Daniel, go ahead and let us know in the comments. I don't believe they actively have an athletic director right now. I
I don't
think they're
think so
still
either.
in the process of getting one. I mean, the athletic department, honestly, in Florida right now is a mess. Not necessarily because of just on the field or on the court type things, but because of just the transformation of going from athletic director to athletic director, some things like that. Let's see. So they don't have a university president right now. But is it not a athletic director too that y'all are in the process of hiring a new one of them? I could be completely wrong on that, but I knew that it was something in the see, we have the AD, pretty bad hires except for Todd Golding, national title. You would throw that in there.
I mean, no,
Anyway,
I'm gonna
so
still say that congratulations on the championship. But if you think Todd Golding is a good person in any way,
we won't get into that. That's a
yeah.
different podcast. Uh, anyway, um, I
But
do
when you
think this is
win, you
a
don't get in trouble. Sorry.
that's true. I do think this is a make it or break it year for Billy Napier, and if he does not, I don't even know if 6-6 is good enough. If he doesn't at least make it 6-6, though, I think you've got to get rid of him and get somebody else. But my predictions here, let's see. And Daniel says we will talk off the record next week about this.
He also said this is how we get clicks. I don't know if that was a compliment or not. I don't know, but I'll take it. I appreciate it, big dog.
You know what? I like getting clicks. So Long Island to start the season, that's going to be a win for Florida. You face off against USF in week 2, Alex Golish and company. I do think that Florida gets a win in that game. LSU week 3. This is a big rivalry, Florida versus LSU. I love watching this game. There's always a lot of fireworks that happen. Um, Here's what I'll say about this game. I think if you get this game in mid-October or early November, I think LSU gets a win in this one because I think they figured things out. But at this point in the season, I think Florida has got things figured out more than LSU does. And I think that Florida goes to Baton Rouge and picks up a win against LSU in this game. Miami on September the 20th. I am not a believer at all in Mario Cristobal. I'm not a believer at all in Carson Beck. I've got Florida going to Miami and winning this game. They're starting off the season 4-0, starting hot. They've got a bye week before going up against Texas. That game is at home, but I do think that Texas gets the better of Florida.
I was about to say, are you really about to do this? I was
even
wondering how far you were going with this.
Yeah, even with a healthy DJ Lagway, I just think that this year, I'm not the biggest believer in Arch Manning, but I think that the rest of Texas roster, I think they right now than Florida does. So I think that they do drop that game to Texas, but it's going to be a lot closer this year than it was last year, especially if DJ Lagway is healthy. At Texas A&M, if this game was at home, I probably give a little bit more favor to Florida, but I do think that Florida's going to drop their second one in a row here to Texas A&M on the road in College Station. But I think this is going to be a fun game, seeing DJ Lagway going up against Marcel Reed, both of them second-year quarterbacks at this point. But I think the home field is really going to play a part in that game there. Yeah. Mississippi State on October the 18th. I think that Florida runs away with this contest. I think they get a bounce back win in this one. They run away with it. Florida's just a better team than Mississippi State. And in a way, I hate saying that because I'm a believer in Jeff Lebby. But right now, he's not at that point to where he can compete with a lot of these teams in the SEC.
Heard.
You get a bye week before going up against Georgia in Jacksonville. I do agree that Georgia is going to be down this year. But I do still think that they pull out a very, very close game against Florida. And I really think that it all depends, once again, on the health of DJ Lagway. If he's healthy for this game, Florida's got a shot of winning this. But if it's Harrison Bailey at the helm for this game, I think Georgia wins by probably 2 touchdowns. Huge. But I think that Georgia wins that game if Bailey's at quarterback. They've got a shot to win it if DJ Lagway is there, but I think Georgia's still just slightly ahead of Florida at this point, so that's why I give the edge to Georgia. Back half of the schedule here, I've got Kentucky at Kentucky. I know that Daniel has some PTSD from Kentucky.
Dude,
the last
Kentucky
decade.
Kentucky
the last decade, they have struggled with Kentucky. They lost 3 straight to Kentucky until last year. They finally broke that streak. But it doesn't matter this year. Florida's going to win that game in less.
Look, I understand Tennessee's like abysmal run in the swamp is like really bad. Florida losing to Kentucky 3 years in a row is pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty raw. It's pretty wild, my dude. Like that's no bueno. But I can't talk crap. It's fine. I mean, I can. We beat Kentucky, but it's fine.
So Ole Miss on November the 15th. This is at Ole Miss. This is going to be a fantastic game that I think really hinges on the health of both quarterbacks. It hinges on the health of DJ Lagway. It hinges on the health of Austin Simmons out at Ole Miss. With a healthy DJ Lagway, which is what I'm basing this off of, I think that Florida goes to Ole Miss and pulls out a very close game. I mean, we saw what happened against Ole Miss last year where Jackson Dart just completely crapped the bed. He choked under the pressure, and Florida pulled out that upset victory in the swamp. I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think that Florida is going to be the better team on the field that particular day, and they're going to go to Vaught Hemingway and get a win. Tennessee on November the 22nd.
How are we doing?
This is one. I
feel that, dude.
I'm in the same boat as you. Yeah. I am a Tennessee fan.
Die hard.
22 years. And look, something always happens whenever Tennessee goes to the Swamp. Tennessee was
The Hail Mary, the last
they
second
were a
field goal, bro.
9-point favorite 2 years ago with Joe Milton heading into the Swamp. They should have won that game by 2 touchdowns on paper.
But we overthrew 13 receivers and
gave up what, 21 points or something like that in the second quarter.
Yeah, that second quarter was
happen.
abysmal.
And I can't pick Tennessee to go down there and beat Florida as of right now. So Florida's going to win in the Swamp.
Oh, we're cooking. Yo, Gator Truth is loving this podcast, dude.
Finishing off the season against Florida State. Florida State's going to be better this year. But I still don't think that they're going to be good enough to beat Florida this year, especially with that game being in the Swamp. So I've got Florida going 9-3 this year. I think they're just on the outside looking in of a college football playoff spot this year. Billy Napier saves his job. I think that Florida's going to have a good year this year.
Yo, so 9-3 with a schedule like that?
Billy Napier.
They're in the conversation. They're at least in the conversation.
Yeah, they're in the conversation. Is he not the coach of the year in the SEC at that point if they go 9-3 with this schedule?
I'm not. I'm done gloating Florida. Let's get off this subject. Anyway, next.
Yeah, so my ceiling and my floor. My ceiling, I only have them one better. I've got I do have them as the ceiling beating Georgia and Jacksonville. So I think that they would go 10-2 as a ceiling. I still see them dropping to Texas and Texas A&M. My floor, on the other hand, and I think this is if DJ Lagway is not healthy this year, if he ends up getting an injury and they have to go to Harrison Bailey or whoever else is on that staff, I can see you dropping that game to LSU. I can see you dropping that game to Miami as well. I think you beat Mississippi State and Kentucky regardless, but I think you drop the other 3 games. So I can see you going from 9-3 to what is that? 4-8 at that point. And that's if, Billy Napier, DJ Lagway not healthy. If all the stuff just completely goes wrong for Florida, I think 4-8 is the floor on this one right here. I think that guaranteed wins are Long Island, USF, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. But I mean, I'm high on Florida, man. I hate to admit that, Tennessee could go down to the Swamp and get beat by Florida because, I mean, I'm a Tennessee fan. I want to see Tennessee win every single game. But as a truther, as a football truther, and I guess part of it's my battered Vol syndrome, I can't pick Tennessee right now to go down to the Swamp and end up getting a victory. But I'm excited to see what Florida's going to do this year because I'll be honest, I want to see Florida fail, but I also want to see Billy Napier keep his job. But at the same time, I think Florida's got a chance to be really good this year.
I want to see Florida. I want to see Billy keep his job only if we can prove to beat him in the Swamp. So, give Billy Napier the greatest season ever. Sure. But if we can beat him in the Swamp, then yes, he can keep his job. I'm totally cool with that. But no, so we both are actually surprisingly. I did not expect us both to be in the 8-4, 9-3 range for Florida, but here we are. Even as Tennessee fans, and I really don't want Florida to go 8-4. But if I had to sit here and put money on it right now, I think I'd bet on the over right now. I think they're over under set at 6.5. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. But I do think I'd hit the over on that pretty easily, actually. So